My name is Ellen Pensky, and on behalf of AWS and Spinsis, I'm going to be your host today, and I want to make sure your experience today is as valuable and informative as possible, because I know everybody's busy, so we appreciate you taking time to join us for today's webinar. And now to the most important part, our very interesting program, which is called Prescription for Big Data Pain, Strategies for Cloud Transition and Optimizations. And we have a very distinguished panel today. I'm very excited. We spent a lot of time talking and preparing and getting this information. So I'm very proud to introduce to you from Spinsis. We have 3 participants. First of all, we have Dr. Kim Pagel, who is the Health Data Sciences Lead. For the past 10 years, Dr. Pagel's work has focused on building AI and ML software to interpret the disease relevance of variation in the human genome. At Spinsis, she leads the digital biobank effort to accelerate genomics research and precision health efforts for Spinsis' largest clients with hundreds of hospitals nationwide, worldwide actually. Also from Spinsis is Wes Watkins. Wes is the Director of Strategic Health Insights. He brings 40 years of combined military and commercial data management experience and is a deeply experienced thought leader and subject matter expert. He is a recognized subject matter expert in strategic planning, big data requirements, and business operations that comprise networks of vendors, suites of tools, and related services. And also from Spinsis, we have Lou Ferrucci. Lou is the Director of Healthcare Innovation. He has over 35 plus years of healthcare support experience, and he's a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives and holds an AWS specialty certification in security. And we're also delighted to have from AWS, Gerard Grundler, who is the partner lead. He's an accomplished executive with broad and deep international experience and expertise in corporate leadership, operations, product development, and he specializes in healthcare, local, state, and federal programs. Quite a distinguished panel that we have today. And let me just take a few minutes to go through the agenda. We've got a packed agenda for today. We're going to be talking about healthcare in the cloud. We're going to give a partner overview and summary of capabilities. We're going to spend some time talking about support for your cloud and digital modernization journey, which has a number of aspects to it. Also a very interesting and enlightening quick start and training program. And of course, I talked about Q&A because it's important. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know if you've got some questions or some things. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gerard.
Today's topic, talking about data and the transformation and the pain points of bringing it to the cloud are really top of mind for most of us today. The importance of cloud healthcare systems and cloud considerations around data, quite frankly, has never been more important. Data in healthcare, we've always kind of had a lot of data. We've been able to produce insights, but they've been mostly insight poor from a perspective of being able to see them across an entire continuum. So the industry is experiencing what I believe is a long-awaited universal evolution in leveraging that was once disparate data and now a digital integrated data sets. We're seeing a convergence of patient, payer, and provider data, along with the genomics and life sciences researchers that is finally modernizing healthcare for populations and patients alike. Fundamental consideration determining your cloud destination should include validating where your critical ISV partner solutions are in that cloud journey. We're happy at AWS to boast one of the richest portfolio of healthcare ISVs, including leaders like 3M, Infor, Highland, InterSystems, Imprivata, Intelligent Medical Objects, Philips, GE Healthcare, and more, all of which are developing their already released SaaS versions of their industry-leading solutions to be delivered on AWS. This is why it's important to think about where you want your cloud destination to be as you migrate your digital enterprise for healthcare to the cloud. Now, there's been a lot of advances in technologies that allow a lot of widespread support of this digital modernization that we've been talking about. I'm going to let you know a few of them, again, as they may impact your strategy going forward. At AWS, we support hybrid cloud migration strategies. because we recognize that there's a cadre of options for you. And regardless of your current or future end state, you're going to be in a hybrid environment, even if you're consuming some of those SaaS solutions directly from AWS VPCs for those ISVs themselves. It's important to note that approximately 100 best-in-class solution providers for healthcare are already part of the AWS Partner Network, or what we call the APN. We also have over 500 best-in-class ISV customers developing their solutions in the AWS for Health Cloud. That should help you to make a decision on where you want your workloads to lie. My advice is to engage Spinsis, who has proven time after time they are the experts at migrating workloads to the cloud, and specifically the complex portfolios of healthcare integrated applications to AWS. Many people are thinking about lift and shift strategies. Well, we have a wide variety of partner programs to choose from to help lift and shift workload migrations. Everything from just moving your VMware virtualized environment to AWS to run on VMC on AWS, to complete migration and modernization capabilities for mainframe applications. You'll hear more later about the migration assistance program we call MAP, which really helps you accelerate the value of cloud for your workloads while eliminating the financial bubble you would have to maintain both on-prem and in the cloud moving forward. We do a lot of really great things with our customers. We lean in with our partners and customers to do things such as well-architected framework reviews, formal technical reviews. We have a variety of engineering and architecture experts, as well as business experts that work with our customers and our partners to ensure you are ready for the cloud and that your business is now aligned to be cloud positive. There's all kinds of discussions around availability, security, and other things in the cloud. What's most important to know is that AWS ranks top of all cloud providers and has for the last 11 years. There's no algorithm to offset the experience we have gained. We have the greatest availability, redundancy for our customers and for our partners. We've strived to optimize our service delivery to benefit our customers. To that point, we have over 108 price decreases over the last several years. As we have been able to optimize in our environment, we pass on those savings to our customers. We all fully recognize that the redundancy and the availability is important, but no thing is more important in healthcare than security. AWS is proud to say we are architected to be the most flexible and secure cloud computing environment available today. Our core infrastructure is built to satisfy security requirements of the military, global banks, and other highly sensitive organizations, and specifically healthcare. This is backed by a deep set of cloud security tools. We have over 300 security, compliance, and governance services, features. In addition, AWS supports 98 security standards, including PCI DSS, HIPAA, HITECH, FedRAMP, GDPR, FIPS 140-2, NIST 800-171, and many more, all helping satisfy compliancy requirements for virtually every regulatory agency around the globe. But what really excites me today, and why we're talking to you, is about the partnership we share with Spinsis. It's really at the heart of today's webinar. AWS and Spinsis share a holistic obsession for our customers. We collectively focus on our customers' mission and work backwards from there to ensure we are leaning in everywhere we can. AWS engineering, business administration, PR, and marketing teams are thrilled to work with Spinsis, as the cumulative effect for our joint customers is unmatched. Partners like Spinsis that are accomplishing vital and complex migrations to AWS on behalf of their DHA and other customers that support those customers' most noble and relevant missions are innovating and transforming healthcare for all. I'm proud to work and support Spinsis as they epitomize the value of partnership on a daily basis.
All right, thank you, Ellen, and thank you, Gerard, for your kind words, continuous collaboration, and the opportunity to showcase what AWS and Spin Systems can do together with healthcare workloads for our clients. Good afternoon, and thank you all for attending today's session as we explore strategies for cloud transition and optimization more deeply. I will now provide an overview of Spin Systems and a brief summary of our capabilities. Spin Systems has more than 2 decades of health data experience and expertise. We specialize in migration to the cloud, modernization of applications, and movement of enterprise-level data to deliver disruptive solutions for our clients and streamline the data ingestion to insights cycle for business intelligence initiatives. With continuous learning as part of our company culture, we are dedicated to keeping pace with the speed of innovation offered by AWS and the industry at large through continuous education and ongoing certification programs. As an advanced tier partner and authorized AWS reseller, Spinsys embraces opportunities to assist clients on their cloud journey, whether it's just the beginning or taking the next step on the path. We will now take a deeper dive into our capabilities supporting healthcare workloads. Our health IT capabilities span the continuum of primary use with health information exchanges through data warehousing, health registries, and referrals facilitation, and onto insights for analytics, research, and business intelligence. Our health infrastructure and cybersecurity support play a key role in all of these activities. Similarly, our MDACA solution supports all nodes along this continuum. MDACA, or the Multi-Platform Data Acquisition, Collection, and Analytics, is a big data suite of applications. Since 2002, we have garnered numerous engineering awards in our healthcare support in delivering client success. A sampling of those awards are listed here to include multiple innovation and disruptive technology awards in support of our clients hitting their targets with their workloads running on AWS. The accuracy for Spinsys hitting delivery targets is derived from our exportable and repeatable processes as certified by a third-party auditor for ISO, CMMI, and NIST compliance. We leverage the fins of our proven compliant processes to focus and stabilize our aim on every project deliverable and program execution for the success of our clients. In today's webinar, we will present how Spinsys provides strategies to drive targeted results for your AWS transition and optimization. Pivoting to how Spinsys can support your cloud and digital modernization, today's webinar includes 4 major areas for migration acceleration, continuous improvements, optimizing the environment and maximizing your data, and managing costs. You will see these markers throughout today's session to provide a frame of reference. As we illustrate rapid cloud migration through this Accelerated Migration Project, or AMP case study, it's important to note the client was within the Department of Defense, where security is of the utmost concern and a top priority. Our immediate customer was Nywick Atlantic, as Spinsys provided the primary engineering rigor supporting this Defense Health Agency client. This specific program executive office provides the largest health data repository for analysis and research across the military health system, with nearly 10 million beneficiaries and exponentially more health records. That largest data repository, known as the Military Health System Information Platform, or MIP for short, resided in an on-prem physical data center until this migration activity. As with most clients, there were key drivers that led to the cloud transition. These included the capital expense cycle for tech refresh to mitigate potential vulnerabilities, and the need to continue to scale for the rapid data growth, projected at 10 to 15% annually. After we provided a successful cloud pathfinder for this client, Spinsys was engaged to execute a large data center migration to AWS GovCloud. This consisted of more than 250 data center hosted servers and more than 750 databases with 300 terabytes of health data workload with PHI and PII for more than 27 million service members and veterans in addition to their family members. Due to business drivers, the schedule was collapsed from 21 months to 16 weeks. We were to maintain operations throughout to include the ingestion of more than 6 billion transactions worldwide daily. Our approach included establishing and orchestrating a team of teams. This was a secret ingredient, especially as various AWS teams leaned forward and were key participants in our daily touch points, task execution, and overall cycle time reduction. We also tailored our migration playbook and processes to meet the timeline with the twofold sequential objective to effectively transition and then efficiently optimize. Notably, our commitment to our in-depth discovery process, despite the 84% timeline reduction, was critical to set the path and informed utilization of agile methodologies and multiple migration pathways to include rehosting, re-architecting, and refactoring. The 300 terabytes of data consisted of various horizontals, from SQL to Oracle and others, and verticals of historic data that could be moved with Snowball devices, and dynamic data that required near real-time data sync with our MDACA big data solution. For this customer running on AWS, MDACA currently ingests nearly 9 billion transactions now every single day, processing more than 100,000 every second. This capability and scalability was critical to meeting the aggressive timeline of the migration and a weekend production cutover with lights off Friday night and lights on Monday morning. In only 93 days, we obtained 4 separate authorizations to operate, passing all security measures for the environment to operate on that client's network, and provided a full production cutover during that time period. This included not just the change of infrastructure to the cloud, but aligned various technical components to the enterprise offering and ushered in new approaches for funding model, business processes, and data management strategies, leveraging AWS services to include lifecycle policies and intelligent tiering. With the on-time delivery success and cost avoidance projected at $33 million over the 5-year budget, the AMP team garnered several awards you see listed today. Arguably, the most rewarding was the customer being able to leverage AWS for its health data workload and its mission to include better performance, lower costs, more security, and elasticity for continued growth, facilitating that streamlined processes for insight and better healthcare outcomes. This migration project continues to yield benefits for the customer, leveraging and expanding their AWS environment with continuous improvements.
As Lou went through and he explained the different award-winning solutions as part of our AMP migration as part of that project, I really wanted to focus in on some of the different aspects of how we did what we did. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how we are integrating with AWS to be able to provide innovation across the board to our clients and to help with that transforming cloud atmosphere of things created, so to speak, right? And so what I want to do is I'm going to go through and explain our sandbox creation and how that works, give you a few examples of that, and then talk to a little bit about the research of test data, how that's done, and some benefits that we've garnered along the way. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So first of all, we're going to talk about our sandbox. Our sandbox is called the Digital Information Lab, or DIGIN for short. And we really like that DIGIN acronym there, because obviously everything that we're trying to create here is centered around the ability to innovate. And so we look at that as that's your ability to provide either your developers or just general users, in the case, the ability to dig into the art of the possible, right? What is it that they need to do? How can they do it? Different technologies across the board to be able to bring that to fruition. So what we've done is we had our best and brightest, with the challenge of going out to create a method to identify different things around people's networks and to help them get into that mode of innovation, so to speak. So as our innovation lab has been set up, there was a few things that we had to worry about as going into that. One, we wanted to make sure it was cost efficient, and in order to make sure that people were able to use it and things of that nature at a very, very low cost. The other part was we wanted to start things right out of the gate for rapid development and things of that nature. So we actually started with a controlled AWS commercial and GovCloud spaces with the understanding that we were going to be able to provide a wide range of tools to help accelerate that migration or that innovation across the board. And then of course, that means that we're leveraging all of the AWS core technologies that they bring to the table. The illustration that you see to the right is just to call your attention to. There are several different components to the MDOCA solution that Lou was speaking of before. With the understanding is all of these things are meant to establish different components of how the data flows and how the data is used in a different organization. So we look at it from how we're going to do the data capture to how we're going to standardize the data, how we bring governance to that data, how are we going to connect or possibly visualize that data, and more importantly, how are we going to secure that data? So if you could go to the next slide, please. So I want to give you a little bit of background on this. So as I mentioned, we put a lot of stuff around the details and tasking our best and brightest to be able to look for that type of solution that was going to give you an early way to discover, right? And Lou brought this up as well as Gerard about the discovery. You know, a lot of people, they know what they know, and they also don't know what they don't know. And so a lot of times it's really trying to get to a known to make them more comfortable in what they're trying to do. So what we've done is we've spent a lot of times with our customers. We really embed ourselves in the customers' problems and their solutions and what are they trying to do as part of their vision. And so we go in and as part of our onboarding, we do a lot of discovery. And when I say discovery, it is really getting into, you know, what is it that they know? What is it that they don't know? What is it that they're trying to achieve? What are they looking at as the art of possibility that we're going across, and really trying to bring that into a reality sense of things. So our Dig In Lab is meant to be around that, to support early adoption, to look at those cost savings and going across the board. Now, what we've done across the board, and then we're so excited about this because the issue of bringing all of that stuff together is centered first on making sure that you are mirroring what their environment is or their infrastructure. And we go into a lot of that case of understanding what that is. But then it's also bringing in users, and training has become a huge focus on bringing people, not only new people into a particular environment where they get to understand and update everything that's going on, but the other users that being there that's really charged with the innovation. Giving them that environment has been hugely positive for our solutions. Next slide, please. So what was our approach? So again, I get back into this whole thing around discovery. You're going to hear that quite a bit, right? Because that data is all about that discovery. But what we've done is, as not only understanding what their needs are for how they want to use the data, but setting up all those different governance guardrails. What is it that they really need to worry about as far as protecting their data? Now, we brought up Lou brought up about PII and PHI, but let's think about it in the other ways too. There's other data sharing agreements or data impromptu things that you have to make sure that gets protected. Some of them are just sensitive in nature, and a lot of that is business specific. So we've gone through all of that. The other pieces, though, is who is authorized to do and see what. And so in our environment, we mirror things around who has role-based access controls to do all of that type of stuff. And so we combine that, their users, a lot of times with our AWS certified engineers, and then we bring that all together with the understanding that we want to reduce costs and we want to make sure that that adoption to that solution happens in the fastest possible motion. But more importantly, if that happens fast, then so does the shutdown or the sunsetting of the current solutions, right? And so in our particular ways of moving forward, those are the main things that we've done to accelerate what people have been doing. So, and as Lou mentioned before, you know, going from 21 months to 16 weeks, that's a huge reduction, right? So next slide, please. So SpinSys uses a DevSecOps approach when we deal with our data. And I know it says generating there because a lot of times it's not necessarily generating data from scratch, but it's generating the ability to see that data across a vast network, right? And so when we go through it, especially as you're looking at our Dig In as our innovation lab, a lot of the people, they want to make sure that they can see the data touch the data represents them, right? And so when they're going through and building things, they want to make sure it's meaningful. It's going to sustain the rigor of all the different testing. They can do the development around it. They can do validation around it. They can help work towards their timelines, and it gives them more confidence that they're actually going to be able to deliver the product. And so we look at patterns of use. We look at the accuracy of the data. We look at all the tools that come into play. And I forgot to mention earlier, as part of this environment, it's not only that we bring all of these different technologies that are industry leading, but a lot of times the catch is to integrate with what the customer's technology is that they're already using. And so from that aspect across the board, we're always bringing in new technologies. And then, of course, as we're doing all of this stuff with the data, I mean, there's so many different ways that we have to protect that data. And one of those ways in some cases is to try and make sure that the data is not duplicated. And so even as you bring all of these different disparate data sets together, as Gerard was talking about, what we're trying to do is lessen the amount of stuff that you have to do to duplicate that data to be able to share it across. And then, of course, with our AWS partners, we're also looking at all the different things around we can do with the storage of that data and how that needs to be protected. So next slide, please. So this is the part that really excites me when I look at all the different things that you can do with the data as you start learning everything around what your customers are dealing with. You can start to create data for their researchers, for their data scientists, for whoever's looking for what is the next thing that we can solve, create, or go down that thing. And so we've also taken the liberty as part of this is to generate this capability of creating synthetic data, right? Meaning that we create false data from real data, right? And so we make it non-reversible. We make it generated based on statistical characteristics of correlation to that real data, right? And then we also put all the privacy controls, HIPAA, data sharing agreement stuff, all of that across the board, or whatever sensitive measures that need to be in place or methods for encryption or whatever that needs to be in place for our customers. And so what we've done in that synthetic data creation is to make sure that it passes all those rigors and those tests. And so those two illustrations that you see at the bottom of your screen, obviously I don't expect for you to be able to read them, but it just gives you a visual look at how we can take very small sample data sets of real data and create literally millions of rows, but also concentrating on those important data elements that could span, like in this particular case, entire populations. So you'll see the two links here of synthetic data and how that's available on the marketplace. But this is something that I'm going to say data geek like me, we get so excited about because we're able to provide that data to really harness in on the stuff that would be related to research. And that's really what we all want, right? So I think that's it for me.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Next up, we're going to discuss how to continue leveraging or expanding your environment and then maximizing the value of your data in the cloud. In doing so, we're going to talk about two case studies. The first is a data warehouse transition, and the second is health data sciences applications that use the cloud. So let's first start with some background on this data warehouse transition. It was a modernization effort. The client's data had been historically hosted on-prem and then was migrated over to AWS. This happened through a rehosting transition pathway. The migration included both the legacy data warehouse and some sensitive healthcare data. The data were lifted from their servers and into an Amazon EC2 instance. This transition allowed for them to cleanly introduce a cloud-native solution and brought about more efficient support for their users. So what was the customer need going in? Well, there were some big data involved, 45 terabytes of data, and this data supported over 70 different ETL processes. So it's a kind of fairly complex system. The client wanted to strike a balance to cut IT costs while also providing a best-in-class analytics platform. After some analysis, there was no silver bullet solution to their enterprise needs, but it became clear that there was a need to decouple the data from the database. And this can be achieved with comprehensive data management and a common data structure for good data governance. Next slide, please. So how was this done? Well, to manage complexity of the system, Spinces implemented a team of teams approach and focused on a well-architected framework. This included an Amazon Redshift cluster, some S3 buckets, and master data management. The schema conversion tool was used to convert database schema into Redshift, and then Amdaca was used to expedite data processing into Redshift from the S3 buckets. At the same time, Amdaca was also able to continue support for COVID reporting by parsing HL7 messages. By partnering with AWS and the client's program office, Redshift was provided for hundreds of users, as well as training materials and a post-assessment training course. Great. The results speak for themselves. The use of the AWS S3 copy command slashed migration time by 20 minutes per 1 million rows. The data warehouse transition was complete in only 10 months, and this occurred while supporting the production environment without any downtime. Nice. And finally, they saved $500K annually by decommissioning the legacy solution and going with this more efficient data storage. So that was the first case study, a real success. Now on to the second case study. There are two services to be discussed here, but overall it's the utilization of cloud for health data sciences. The first component is the digital biobank. The aim here is to take genomics data, secure it home safely, and support analytics of the data to advance the cause of precision medicine. The second component is medical surveillance system, MSS. Contains various data types. The goal here was to transition from an on-prem environment into an already existing AWS environment. Actually, both of these systems were being integrated into the same existing health data platform, and this integration would advance several causes. The analytics capabilities of the platform, it would improve interoperability of the platform overall, and it would ultimately allow integration of various different data types, including health outcomes. The customer need was threefold. First, they needed to provide an integrated data science platform for health data to advance precision medicine while preserving privacy and data security. AWS was great for that. Second, to incorporate data with an automated ingestion from multiple different sources, different data types, different sources. And third, their need was to enable capabilities that support a very broad range of health services. First, to operationalize the capabilities of digital biobank within the platform, as well as to rationalize the existing production level MSS. This was strongly impacted by our ability to leverage cloud-native services and their efficient storage. This included the Amdaca suite to slash the time between the ingestion of health data to the creation and production of health insights. The benefits of this work are manyfold. First, it is projected to bolster our ability to harness this data science platform to multiple ends, increase the performance, maximize the availability of the systems, to optimize preparedness, and to hopefully personalize healthcare. Second, it provides scalable support of the health data even as it continues to grow, and it will continue to grow. And then third, and finally, it provides the ability to enable targeting of critical preventative measures and then use those biomarkers to more rapidly get insights out to the users. Thank you.
So far, we've presented cloud transition, modernization with continuous improvements, and how utilization can advance healthcare. So as we continue the mile markers on this common cloud journey, this section will address managing costs. Specifically, we'll cover some challenges and support for various health environments. As Gerard had intimated, there's a whole array of options and alternatives, options and combinations. And then we'll present some tips and key considerations for cost optimization and address the evolution of a maturity framework for sustaining it within the operational expense funding model that's introduced with cloud computing. During a cloud transition, as Gerard was saying, every organization will experience the need for operating a hybrid environment. That's an ecosystem between the cloud and your current non-cloud physical servers. That is true whether it's for days for production cutover weekend, months or years during the cloud transition and utilization as the entire ecosystem or as a key component of it. A primary concern, often leading to analysis paralysis or fear of the transition among late adopters, is meeting production data needs without introducing redundant data stores. At the root of this concern is handling the distributed workloads across environments to leverage the benefits of the various hosting options to optimize that return on investment. Support for this new ecosystem and distributed data, especially with healthcare workloads, requires baked-in security for an interconnected solution and an experienced execution partner. Spinsis technologies with AWS integration provide the proven foundation to support these challenges within your organization's governance, policies, and processes. Although multiple migration pathways onto the cloud exist, and those can include rehosting, re-architecting, and refactoring, the most commonly enacted is rehosting or lift and shift. This typically becomes the migration pathway for those who have not yet embraced the cloud due to analysis paralysis leading to the possibility of yet another large upcoming capital expense for failing infrastructure that's on-prem, or a security event driving organizations towards the security of the cloud and all AWS has to offer. As a direct result, migration and initial operating costs can be higher than anticipated as organizations mirror their on-premise physical infrastructures rather than leveraging all that the cloud offers. Under an operational expense funding model, cost control is iterative and it's continuous. This enables dynamic refinement of your environment within a well-architected framework to be performant and efficient. Optimizing cloud requires continuous monitoring and proactive governance, leveraging repeatable processes and collaboration among all stakeholders to meet enterprise-wide objectives. This can represent a shift from how many organizations have historically approached information technology costs. The historic way of cost control with large investments every 3 years will not be effective. Cloud-based organizations should go beyond traditional cost management tools. These include 3 pillars for governance, review boards, and proactive management with appropriate automation. Spinsis recommends revisiting and modernizing business policies with an eye on total cost of ownership, as well as the ability to dynamically influence that total cost of ownership, while using the right tools for universal understanding and compliance. Review boards are in the center because they play a key role and should leverage tools to track recommendations through implementation and results measurement. The Cost Optimization Review Board, or CORB, is an integral part as each organization should proactively champion cost optimization to meet budgets and objectives. Management activities include tracking of costs, action plans, and licenses, and the consideration of opportunities to leverage platform as a service cloud native services to reduce license costs, as well as tailoring engineering workflows to the business needs. These should be supported by the right tools to implement the core decisions and report results back to that review board to iteratively achieve the desired results. That iterative collaboration between business operations and engineering support play a critical role in establishing and cultivating a maturity framework to optimize costs. One cannot be entirely effective without the other. Business requirements should be uniformly understood, and engineering must support business operations with insightful and meaningful cost data. To that end, asset tagging provides definitive insight into compute and store costs in support of meeting key performance indicators. With time and experience, cycle time reduction should evolve and will be catalyzed by tightly coupled collaboration, leading to desired results and sustained processes for lower total cost of ownership and further the return on investment with the cloud. As with any learning model, this maturity framework will facilitate insights to action on a continuous cycle and build upon itself. The cloud and modernization journey can be daunting. However, you don't need to go it alone. In this final section, I'll cover our Quick Start program and continuous training and support. Our Quick Start program is designed to streamline processes to accelerate onboarding and delivery. It leverages collaboration with AWS and to frame client success through 6 successive steps, from discovery and planning through follow-up and coordination. Clients are always at the heart of the Quick Start to meet your timelines, needs, and expectations. That insight drives the early steps to ensure execution remains in sync for overall success in meeting your objectives. Throughout this process, Spinsis works closely with our clients to help them realize and leverage the value of their data by running their workloads on AWS. Part of that close collaboration may include training and support. Spinsis offers our proven 3-pronged approach for clients to leverage the expertise of our team and that of AWS. This includes instructor-led group sessions, an individualized mentoring option, and our self-paced learning management system. Our training and support is designed to optimize the value of the AWS, Spinsis, and client relationship throughout your cloud transition and optimization.
Thank you very much, Lou, Wes, Kim, and Gerard. Great session, lots of great information. That was a lot of content in a short period of time. The first one is they're asking, and I think Lou, this would probably go to you, asking about the maximum amount of data that can be handled by the MDACA platform. Lou, you want to take that?
I do, and thank you. That's a great question. So the MDACA suite of applications is designed to support massive enterprise workloads. Integration with AWS technologies as that continued undisputed cloud leader enables infinite scalability to meet the largest enterprise needs for that scalable outcome.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Gerard, did you want to add anything to that?
I think Lou covered the fact that it scales, but I think to add to that is that we recognize customers whenever they have data and have data scaling issues that, quite frankly, they are looking to store some of that data in different levels or layers. So we have the ability for them to have it archived and completely in low cost, almost no cost storage, or they could have it in very high performance storage for high performance computing, AI, and analytics. So it really is one of both scale and breadth and depth and performance requirements. It's all there in the cloud for them today.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. Next question that I have is someone in the audience wanted to know what software or tools are already connected, and do you support this specific tool? And I think, Wes, that's probably one for you to handle.
So yeah, I'm assuming that that's related to the process that we were talking through for dig in. So it's hard to say for a specific tool, because if you're asking me, does it support it? My answer is automatically going to be yes. The tool is already designed right now with about 350 or so interfaces. And really it gets into, you heard me get excited about discovery, right? So it really just depends on the uniqueness of the client's ecosystem and what all they have in place and how we can connect to that. And if we don't have that capability right up front, then that's part of the discovery, and it's pretty done, and it's done in pretty short order. So hopefully that answers that question. So
I think so, but if anybody wants any other addition to that, we can put it in the Q&A. I think actually, Wes, this next question is probably for you too. They're asking about if we want to integrate a new software tool for MDACA, how long would the estimate be for that?
yeah, okay, so that actually ties back into the last question, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
so the I think the biggest thing on that one is it's still the discovery, right? It's really trying to find out what they're trying to do. Just to say that we connect to a particular piece of software technology may not meet their needs. And so it really just depends on what the client is looking to be able to do with that technology and what type of environment it is. I mean, in our particular case, a lot of stuff that we're doing, as Lou mentioned, in those very secure DoD type environments, well, there's lots of security rigor that needs to go in there. And so even though the software may work great, does it work in the environment and infrastructure that it's being set up in? And so we do a lot of that stuff too, but that's part of the discovery.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Gerard, I think there's a question here for you. Is MDACA currently available on the AWS Marketplace?
That's a great question. And yes, it is. As a matter of fact, MDACA itself is actually a portfolio of solutions. And I'll let Lou follow up a little bit with this, but we are thrilled to let you know that it is in fact on the marketplace today and fully supported by the AWS Marketplace e-retailer capabilities.
Yep. And thank you, Gerard. I will add on to that. So yeah, absolutely. Components of MDACA are being released incrementally onto the AWS Marketplace with synthetic data engine currently available out there, and Wes briefed that a little bit earlier. We are going through our ongoing release process, so please check the marketplace frequently, and most importantly, if you're looking and are interested in a particular MDACA component that's not yet released, let's have that conversation so we can make sure we get what you need to be successful.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, Kim, I see a couple questions coming in for you. You're not off the hook yet. Asking about to what level can you secure or restrict data access?
This is a fantastic question, especially in the context of health data. You want to make sure that access to the data is battened down to only the folks who should have access to it. And that's where MDACA comes in again. It offers really granular controls of the data down to the individual row and column level. It's perfect for the use in health data. And I know from experience that it works really well. It complements the existing role-based access that an organization might have.
Great. And thank you very much. And another question, and I think, Kim, this is probably for you. What's the primary advantage of cloud utilization for health data sciences?
Yes, this is one of the reasons why I joined the SpinSys team, is when you combine the availability of cloud resources, pull them up and down at your will, the scalability to handle the ever-increasing size of health data, and the limitless compute and store capabilities that they offer, particularly AWS offers, it really uniquely supports the health workloads that we're working with and the continuous growth of data, because it will continue to grow for every person out there. And that's required to generate the kind of insights and discovery that we need, particularly with things like machine learning models and other kind of big use cases. It can grow with the data for your purposes.
Okay, and I think I have one last question, and Lou, I think this is really up to you here. They're asking if you help in the setting up and running of CORB, and what does that entail?
That's a great question, and we absolutely do, to make sure that we can sustain that organization's momentum and proper utilization and optimization of their cloud computing resources. So as part of our training and support program, we can be available for instructor-led training or mentoring to assist with that cost optimization governance that is consistent with that organization's specific policies, processes, to make sure that they get the most benefit out of that.
Great. Okay, thank you. So a lot of great questions, follow up on that great presentation and information. With that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Lou, and you can thank everyone for attending.
Yep, absolutely. So first of all, thank you and Nurture Marketing for hosting today's webinar. Ellen, you did a superb job of moderating our session. Thank you to my fellow panelists, Gerard Grundler from AWS, Dr. Kim Pago and Wes Watkins from Spinsys, for your collective expertise, collaboration, and consistent focus on client success. Truly appreciate all of that. But a special thanks to all our attendees for investing your time with us today and signaling your interest in your continued cloud transition and optimization efforts. We welcome the opportunity to discuss how AWS and Spin Systems can assist you in meeting your health data objectives for cloud utilization and digital transformation. Whether you're just starting out on your journey or you're taking that next step, it's about time.